Hi, it's Mike Matthews, and this is Mike's Daily Podcast, episode 145 for Friday, October 21st, 2011, broadcasting to you from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Castro-Valley, California. Throw some sponsorship this way. We're a podcast that deserves a little love. If by love you mean sponsoring some cool dang product, email me at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. So yesterday we ate at a restaurant that left us wanting. Mike's Daily Podcast. It was Indian and it was overpriced. The proportions were the tiniest slices.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Like $10 for a tiny bowl of Indian slop. Even for bread, they also charged a lot. When they tried to take a plate with a piece on it, we almost bit the guy's head off, and he didn't wear a bonnet. Why would he? It's nowhere near Easter. My bad. Must learn fashion.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Should have known better eating in Palo Alto. That's the richest place full of people walking their laps to apsos.
Mike's
What a cute dog.
Daily
They're really pretty.
Podcast.
And they're really nice.
Yeah!
Yeah, so that's what we did yesterday. But, you got to check out a place once in a while. And, I guess when you go online and look at the menu and see that they're charging a lot for the above said items, that you're probably in for a pretty expensive place with not much reward. But you live and learn. Look who walked in just now at this point.
Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen.
And this is the Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what. Indian food. I love it. It's delicious, even though it makes my stomach feel kind of weird.
Oh, okay. You're not exactly... There's a lot of vegetarian food involved with Indian food, so you probably aren't much of a vegetarian.
A veg of what?
You know what, Mike? I wanted to tell you that I think we should eat more vegetarian because we're going to get really big and fat like people that are in the Tea Party.
Okay, that's great that you insult the Tea Party people like that, Benita. When all y'all's Occupy Wall Street people, they look like a bunch of bongo pot-smoking hippies.
Yeah, well, all your people need folding chairs, and they're all really white.
Okay, you two, calm down. Calm down. This is a debate between the Tea Partiers and the Occupy Wall Streeters, and not you two. You two love each other, and you're married.
Yeah, okay. Let's go outside and fight.
All right, I'm right behind you.
Bye, all. Bye. Tea Partiers fat.
And as they walked out, look who just walked in.
Hello, there.
Brewmaster, you okay? Brewmaster.
I just drank some of my own root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Wow, Brewmaster, you're not feeling so well, huh?
No, I tried to make, when I heard you start singing at the beginning of the show about Indian food, I tried to make a delicious Indian root beer.
Oh. What'd you put in the root beer?
Stuff.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, you probably shouldn't make any more root beer for a while, Brewmaster. You're going to poison yourself and you'll die.
That's my life story.
That would be your life story, right?
News random.
So this is something I got off of Dig. Dig is where like an aggregate sort of news website where people that when they like a news story, they say they dig it, and then when the news story gets a bunch of digs, then it becomes like the top of their list. And so I get their list sent to me, and what seems to be the number one news story at this point is an image that's been going around, and I don't know, I can't really see what the research is behind the statistic, but it's an image that says how class warfare began. And it shows a list, and it's got a bunch of countries on one side and a bunch of ratios on the other. And on one side, it starts with the country, Japan, and goes about 10 countries, and at the bottom is the United States. And Japan's ratio of pay between their CEOs and average worker is 11-1. And then below that is Germany, it's 12-1. And it goes on down the line until you get to United States. And this, by the way, is underneath Venezuela, Mexico, Britain, South Africa, Canada, Italy, and France. The ratio of pay between CEOs and the average worker is 475-1. So that's like pretty crazy. And that's sort of the thing going on behind the whole Occupy Wall Street right now. And I think this is probably from an Occupy Wall Street supporter, but that's pretty scary. And speaking of sort of politics and what is running our world today, it's interesting to note, this just came out, that Steve Jobs warned Barack Obama last year that he risked losing re-election. He said, quote, "You're headed for a one-term presidency." They met in the fall of 2010, and Steve told Barack that he had to adopt more business-friendly policies, saying companies were more likely to build factories in China because of regulations and unnecessary costs in the United States. And as I know from my business class, Steve Jobs has built a lot of factories in China. That's probably one of the biggest demerits that is on his legacy, as everyone has been talking about his legacy lately, is that there has been under him a lot of factories that were built in China they're just not up to snuff over there. There's a lot of pollution, and the factory workers are their lives are being risked daily. So that is the latest. I'm sure that's going to become more of an interesting news story as Steve Jobs' book is coming out. It's a biography that was written by Walter Isaacson, and it's coming out October 24th. It also reveals that Jobs offered to design ads for Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. So he was going to try and help him out. Let's go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast.
And here's today's podcast picture.
That business class was so awesome. Right there at the Chabot Community College. So great. It was a night class. And the teacher, the short little lady, she was full of spunk and had a lot to say about topics like working overseas mass factories of labor that's being worked to the bone and all that sort of Kathy Lee Gifford kind of thing. And I have to learn how to say 2012 correctly, because I'm one of those people that says 12 with a ch in the beginning, and that's not quite right. The picture is of Alameda Island and the birds flying around there. There's this cool area. That opening that you see is in between Alameda Island and Harbor Bay Isle, and it goes into San Leandro Bay, a beautiful bay that is actually overlook. The part of the view of the San Leandro Bay is the Oakland Stadium. Oh, and yeah, we were also talking about that because there's a picture with Basil that was recently on the podcast where he was overlooking the San Leandro Bay. And it's just a beautiful spot right there. And the birds are all flying around in formation. It's kind of weird, kind of eerie how they do that. Got to watch more Animal Planet and figure out why they're doing that, because it's weird and freaks me out. And they probably say the number 12 wrong like I do. And enjoy the rest of your Friday or whatever day you're listening to this. And if you have never had Indian food, maybe check it out. Just don't go to a place where they're charging you, just the incredible amounts of money. And the food servers walking around with bonnets on. Wait, I don't even think that restaurant exists.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at podcast.blog.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!